All right. For the past actually 2 weeks, I've been holding. Haven't done any transactions. But I've mainly been holding big positions in Orbotech. That's ORBK.
Yes, which is Josh is not here today.
Yep.
But, that is that's the one that he's. Orbotech is ORBK, which had a tumble. I know what happened there because I've been following too. And that
the first drop. Yeah, the first drop around was it May 20 something. That was due to the Israeli tax investigation.
Right.
And then the second.
On the first, I believe.
Yeah, that very first gap back there is from the earnings, and then the second gap up, that's from the was it the second quarter? Oh, the first quarter earnings, and then the gap down was due to Israeli tax investigation, and then after that was just technology sector weakness, right?
There was a complaint about them not paying taxes.
Yeah. That was through that big sharp jump, close to 30.
But it's kind of interesting because it's not a gap. It was your openings and then traded in there, and then it closed up. See, that was an intraday trade. The news came out, but there was trading around the gap.
Yeah, and it was a huge volume too. Something close to what was it, like 2.5 million shares traded on that day? Yeah. So that was just the criminal investigation. But the overall, I was just talking to Josh the other day. He was telling me that their flat panel display sector of their revenue is actually realized because they have the 6 months lead time to pre-order essentially, so they already know how much money they're going to make in that individual revenue stream, which is about something close to 250 million for the rest of the year. And then like his projection essentially also validated his overall long-term projection for up till 2017 or 2019 of price target of like $71 per share. So for me, I started adding more positions 2 weeks ago, so it has been actually working out very well. I'm up something close to 20 something percent in one of my accounts. Another one is close to 4.5%. Because that other one I actually hold the shares, and another one I actually own the options, like lots of calls. so yeah, and the other one that I'm holding is Intel. It's INTC.
Okay. And I want to ask Thomas too.
Yeah.
Thinking about your Las Vegas Sands. Yeah. Is that Orbotech sort of one you would do your puts and calls with and play that way?
No. When it's my turn around, I'll show you the difference with AMAT.
Okay.
I looked at this also.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Intel, they have like a few more products lined up. I actually was just looking at this the article that was released June 26th. They were talking about like 3 major lineups. They have their 8th gen core, or like 14 nanometer plus like processors lined up, and then in addition to their KB Lake processor, and then
KB Lake should already be out.
And just a plus version of it, which essentially is just higher core count, right? Like there's nothing changing the architecture of the processor, but they added more processing power. But then there were also talks about their next product rollout for the processor for the server side, and that is called Pearly. You guys are familiar with it? So I think. Even though I feel like Intel has been dormant for a while, with a lot of talk about AMD taking over the processing world with their Ryzen chips, I feel like this is just like, if you look at the price per earnings, they drop below something close to like $14.5 per every $1 they actually earn for the 12 trillion month. So just by looking at that, the average for that sector, for the semiconductor sector, I was pricing it around like $16 or $17 per every $1 of earning. So once it dropped below 34, so I actually sold a bunch of put contracts, essentially trying to acquire the shares around 34, and then of course it got blew past, and I also got some calls in as well. So this is something that I'm actually trying to acquire stock positions using options. Yeah, so those are the two positions that I
So
currently
it's like
hold.
closing a gap, as we say, technically speaking, it'll go to slightly below 35 to close that gap and kind of become active. Right?
Yeah. Other than that, I still hold long-term Adobe. It just seems like a very good business model, like ADBE. Yep, I just believe that they have a very good business model because since I started doing a lot of like video streaming and
Yes,
making.
that's got more of the gap up here and all that, no yield on it. See, that's you're giving up your yield. Intel, I know, had a nice yield, but this is not getting.
So the reason why I got in long term on this position is because I started noticing a lot of the professional video producers, they all use this thing called Adobe Premiere, and it's almost like it's very sticky because once you learn how to use the software, and then you can't use that in any other software other than Adobe Premiere. It's like you go to college, you get a degree, now you know it. You don't want to give that up. So a lot of people, I feel like they have a strong potential for captivating their people.
Would you enter at this level, or would you wait for pullback?
I've been actually, my strategy right now is to sell contracts. Essentially, says that if it drops below this price, I will buy it.
Sounds puts.
Yeah. So if it doesn't drop below this price, sure, whatever. I'll just use the money that I collect to buy some calls.
What's your sell strike 135?
140.
140.
Yep. And I started doing this. I'll say it was maybe also 3 weeks ago. They just had their earnings announcement. Was it 3 weeks ago, something like that? Yeah. Oh yeah, and something else is Orbotech has their earning coming out August 2nd.
Right. So is that anything for you, Mike?
Yep.
Right.
Julian, because I actually work with Wei, so many of my positions and setups are similar to his because we have these discussions during the week as well as on the weekend. So I'm also long in Orbotech, long in Intel. I had taken a prospective position in Rite Aid and got on the wrong side of that one, so I'm kind of riding that out right now.
Okay, so you're sticking with that. All right, but
Despite Wei's better counsel, I'm sticking with it.
Are you writing it out or writing it out?
I'm writing it out, yeah.
Everybody's got their own way of thinking. What strategies are? Who knows what works? You only know.
Yeah. So I also took a stance in yeah.
What a disaster.
Right. So I got in at 4, and then it dropped to 3.5, and then it got in again at 3, and then it bumped back up to 4, and I should have gotten out, and then it's back down around 2 and 2.3 right now. So
see, that was decent volume on the pop, but then it really had a huge volume on the gap down. So.
right. So when I went into it, I was looking at it's trading within 6% of its 52-week low. So how much worse can it get? Now I know.
It was speculating on the
on the merger with Walgreens, which the FTC blocked. So
is that it then for you?
the only other thing I had taken a position is I also took a position in gold, GLD, which is it looked like it was getting a good opportunity at about 118. It's actually dipped a little bit more, but it's close to its low for the year. So I still think it's
That should remind me again. Gold. Running across the point now. A lot of these people that are collectibles for gold coins and all that, they're getting old. Younger people don't care for collectibles, so that has depressed the premium that these classic coins have. So I've been interested myself, saying, well, maybe it's time for me to look at some of these collectibles if the premium on the gold is so modest. There is a story that the St. Gaudens are really classic gold coins. They're $20 coins, and it's younger folks, they just don't want them. They don't want to fool with it. They're really beautiful, and the gold collectors say, hey, they are the best, and they never could get the premium that low. Like now, it's supposedly like it's only 8%. Or 8% over the spot price. that's a fantastic value, but they may fall further as younger millennials, they just don't want it.
So quick question, is your position on gold just from a technical perspective, or you see some fundamental reason to go get into gold because of the dollar weakening, making gold?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a security. So a lot of the other positions I have are in equities.
Right.
This was a way to balance that a little bit.
Instability, gotcha.
I'm currently selling off in my dad's coin collection from an estate, and I've been to all the coin dealers in the area, and the wholesale versus retail is ridiculous. I mean, what they're willing to pay for this stuff is.
By the way, do you have any St. Clemens in your?
No. In fact, I'll give you a case in point. He had a whole bunch of Eisenhower dollars. If you go online, they're $1.25. The dealers would not even buy them. They said, if you want, go spend them. So I have them. They're available for sale for $1 if anybody wants them, because it's all the dealers. So I'd rather give them to somebody who will give them to their grandchildren or nieces and nephews or whatever. But I saw that play out with all of these other coins. If they didn't have silver or precious metal in them, it would be spot. The best dealer was spot minus $1, and most of the other ones were even worse than that. And so then you on the buying side of that are going to pay spot plus something.
Yeah.
So that's the marketplace.
I mean, millennials just don't want. They don't want one. So that's what you're facing. Well,
Just a quick comment on that. I have those $20 coins.
St. Clemens.
Right. Bought them in my 20s thinking that, my God, hey, gold is forever and gold is going to do all these magical things. Looks like other than handing them over to grandkids someday, they have no value. So I'm trying to sell them too. My experience is similar to that.
Same thing.
Yeah, but I tell you, you get an 8% of your spot. Maybe I'm interested. If you got.
It's
How
when you
would
go
you-
to sell them, you'll find how little they're worth.
Well, we're sort of diverting on gold, but I will say this: gold demand is so strong because people fear the financial chaos. The Kim 3 pops a nuke on us. How are we going to function? I tell you, the whole computer system could completely collapse.
Gary, wouldn't the young ones go to where Noel is? It's cryptocurrency. That's where you go.
Bitcoin. Yeah, Mr. Bitcoin.
Well, cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Not
you
just
think
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's going to be functioning?
No,
cryptocurrency.
cryptocurrency,
Or
not Bitcoin.
Well, you think cryptocurrencies are going to go off? The computer system snap? What do you got?
I'm just saying, those millennials that don't want
Well,
gold might be going where he
Gary,
is.
in that case, you're gonna go move to a farm and grow your own vegetables.
Yeah.
They like to eat green, unlike radioactive greens.
Yeah.
We're all dead.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm sorry. I just want.
That's all right. Actually, I hadn't thought about it as gold coins. I was looking at it as physical gold and the value of gold itself. Because I'm coming from a technology perspective, it has good metallurgical properties for things that you do in all electronics. So as all the tech continues to continue, the need for some of these specialized precious metals will continue.
Yep.
So is that it for you?
Good morning. My name is Greg, and this is my first time here. I work with these two guys, so that's why I'm here today. And I've mainly just been doing index fund investing and not really trying to get into individual stocks. So I'm in a learning mode at this point. And I have established some positions that are very similar to the ones that Julian just went over. So I'm here to learn.
All right, Tom, you're next.
Well, Orbicheck, I'm going to go back to this. Vince, can you pull up Orbicheck and pull up AMAT on a chart?
What's that first one?
ORBK.
ORBK. BK.
Okay, now you want me to put in a comparison symbol?
Yes, AMAT. A-M-A-T.
Gotcha, hold on. AMAC?
A-M-A-T.
AMAT. Gotcha.
Yeah,
There we go. The red line is your AMAT.
Okay, now go back a little bit.
Go back.
Now there's your.
Yeah,
I think longer duration.
yeah.
How far back?
No, that's all right. Now, you see there's a lot of parallelism here.
That's
Yep,
correlation.
And one of the things I found is AMAT has a higher volume, and it's easier to write calls and puts on them. And that's I have some Orbit also. I sold some of mine luckily before it dropped because I was happy with the return.
You caused the drop.
No. But getting involved with options on this stock is not as liquid as the other company. That's the only comment.
The reason why I believe Orbotech's a better hold is because their total market cap is so low. So that's also it's easy for them to become a candidate of acquisition. It's the most possible person company that's going to buy them. It's essentially AMAT. So and their market cap is only like 1 point something bill versus Applied Materials is like 50 billion right now. So
so you look at Orbotech as a possible takeover?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now that's a whole other game. Yeah.
Also, I think Josh had addressed that comparable, which is not really a good comparable because Orbotech is a subset of what AMAT is on. So it's their market's a little different.
Okay, I like Intel also. I think that they're sort of been undervalued compared to the rest of the technology, and they are going to come out, or they have already come out with a new server chip for the compete against AMD.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how it works out.
Now you do have the yield with Intel. They do pay a nice dividend. So.
Yeah. Some of the other things I've gotten in with MU, Micron. I'm doing calendar calls on them. MU, Vince?
MU? So that means you don't expect to go that much higher, but...
Well, what I did is I think they got a good, strong direction.
That?
Yeah, and I'm sitting in the January call with them.
A couple gaps up.
And I'm also writing a weekly short call.
At the same strike?
No, it depends on where
calendar usually means the same strike. Right?
Well, I'm going out 6 months in the future, and then I'm writing the weekly calls.
A little bit
so
higher.
that's an interesting way to also play this technology stuff.
You do, those weekly.
So the January 18 is what strike, perhaps a 30, and then you write a 32 against it?
Well, I'm in 31, 32 range in that area. But I don't just stay with one, I do the spectrum.
You're long a call 6 months out, and you're selling it weeklies.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And
it's called a calendar spread.
Yeah.
So you're shorting.
Well,
short term.
This is a very interesting way for people who haven't gotten into options. Is that I look very much so at how options decay over time. It's the theta decay, and some of these stocks have high volatility and they have a very high theta. So what I try to do is take advantage of that, and for very little.
By the way, that's another.
And if you go out for a long term, you don't have that decay of your option, but you do have, in the short term, for the last week, you have a much faster decay of the option.
Actually, one good, nice problem that I had with that was that I did something similar, and my stock got called away because there was a big spike up, and that short call that you had was below that new price, and all of a sudden I had no position anymore. You've been called away. That's okay. It's a good problem to have. You made some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Frank?
What's the strike on the long?
Long is 31.
And it's 6 months out.
6 months out. Yeah.
How long did you acquire that? Like, was it near 31 when you got it, or did you buy it in money?
Well, I don't know when. We've got a whole mess of things.
So you have a strategy. You have your strategy.
I'm bringing this up because it is relatively low capital investment with a higher return. On a lot of other things, you can take on some of these things. You can take covered calls, and you own a stock like Intel. Intel is a stock you would own and not make much money on the options. And the premium on Intel is very low
There's a dividend.
It's a long-term strategy. Because
Yeah,
if you project out how much.
So you have to look at it a little differently than
Yep.
what it is. Yeah. I think that's,
That's it?
well, I could, no, that's it for now.
I mean, any other-
I don't wanna, there's a lot of smart people in this room, so.
Right. We want to hear what everybody's thinking, so our time for you now, Rick.
I have bought Las Vegas Sands, that's LVS. I paid $61.81 for it. My research suggests
You know, that's a hefty yield now.
it's got a nice yield, yeah, over
That's
4%.
pretty nice. Pretty
Did you
nice.
buy at the dip? Did you buy at the dip?
Not the most recent dip, the one before that. I almost bought some more yesterday, but decided to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what happened? It was a gap. There was.
There was
I
news.
could
There was
find no
news of
reason.
some. There was news of some money laundering in Macau that is affecting Win,
that again?
Win and LVS. But that'll blow over pretty soon. It's a good buy opportunity.
Yeah, well,
Well, I
I've
mean,
been through that before.
Everybody's got their own opinion, so you might be right there on that.
That's what I read that somewhere. I didn't make it.
All right, so it's
Liquidity
widely
risk.
believed
It's a
that
fake news channel.
Las Vegas Sands will get one of the first casino licenses in Japan. Maybe as early, they may get the license as early as this year.
How many places are they right now? They're in China and they're here
They're
in the
in
United
Macau.
States?
They're in Las Vegas. They've got one shop in Pennsylvania, which they're trying to get rid of.
And the biggest, one of the biggest ones also is in Singapore. They're right near the harbor. They have a huge complex.
And I think they're very smart about how they build these things because they don't just build casinos. They have huge hotels with them and shopping malls, and all these things are people magnets. So it looks good to me. I expect to add to the position. I do not personally like Sheldon Adelson. He is pro open borders. I completely disrespect him for that. If he wants to make me some money, however,
Well, there you go.
that's okay.
All right.
All right, that's all for
That's
me.
it for you. All right, Nolan, you're next.
Welcome back.
Yeah. It's the
So-
cryptocurrency guru.
No big cryptocurrency. We'll keep it stocks today, gentlemen. I have a stock I've been invested in for a while. It's Algen Technologies. I've mentioned this probably off and on for the last 3 weeks.
What's that symbol again?
Just A.
Just A.
Big A, okay.
Yeah, Agile.
Okay.
Excellent.
And so I've been invested in this stock for over 3 months, and I had
Yes, you know, that's a steady upswing too, on it. That's got a little bit of a yield, huh?
Yeah, it shows some promise. It's a very good, reliable stock, very little volatility. The intraday swings are not as something I'm very comfortable with. As you can tell, those long bars signifying a lot of intraday swings. But on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, it's a pretty decent uptrend. I've increased my holdings probably about 3 weeks ago. I'm not really 100%, but I want to present this to people who are interested in technology and not something as volatile as like an Amazon or Facebook. It seems to be pretty steady and consistent. So that's my first recommendation. Also, BlackRock. I had BlackRock in my BLK. BlackRock, I had this in my portfolio for a while, and I was actively managing this, so I needed something with a high strike price. So I doubled up.
No,
on this.
that's a little bit of, 2.3 is, that's a positive factor.
Yeah, I doubled up on this about, a month and a half, 2 months ago when I cashed out some Bitcoin. And my rationale for this is because BlackRock is one of the largest financial companies. Jupiter Investments, they've just recently, on Friday, added to the position. So I figured that, as you know, bank stocks are doing really well with interest rates. I think this is a more stable stock to hold if you're going to look for that pop due to institutional interest rates really rising in the next few months.
Yeah, but that's another question.
What's
right?
interesting is that I think J.P. Morgan just had their outstanding earnings report, but the stock value actually goes down just because I think of the Trump rally after the election and then autumn 2017 with the interest rate. A lot of the investor feels like that value has already been captured in the stock price. So actually, even with the outstanding earning, they actually stock value went down. So that might actually,
something significant about that, is that did you hear the Jamie Dimon outburst?
Yeah.
During that call that he called to task the Congress for not doing anything, and he thought that the underperformance, as he sees it, for the GDP of being under 2% is like somewhat due to congressional intransigence. And he was going on and on about his frustrations about this. So in that earnings report, he's kind of telegraphing that he doesn't necessarily see GDP going up that much, and rates may not go up as much. In fact, they went down. The latest CPI, Consumer Price Index, that came out Thursday, I think, right, showed that it was 0.1%, 1.2% a year of inflation.
Could that be due to low oil prices?
Oh, could possibly, sure, right? That's right. So 1.2% inflation, does that portend the higher rates? I don't know, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind as you look for an interest rate pop. That may not happen yet. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with 2% growth for now 7-8 years without a recession. I'm not going to complain about that, but some people think it's bad. Never mind.
Yeah. So my final stock would be NVIDIA.
Yeah, I heard of
NVIDIA's, yeah. A lot of people know I've been recommending this for, I don't know, over 6 months.
$43. You recommended that.
Thank you.
And I bought. Thank you.
$43.
Quick back then?
Yeah.
I must have missed that meeting.
Yeah. John keeps me on track. This is one of my winners here.
That also has a little bit of a yield too. So.
Used to be good.
Yeah.
But how long can this keep up? This is my question.
Sam, one of our, Sam, we all know Sam. Sam believes this is the Bitcoin of stocks. But I won't go that far to say that. There was a pullback, and I got to increase my holdings to 1/3, and I profited from that. I don't think that you're going to see a bomb in this for a while. I think we've got a lot more room to go. If you doubt me, just call it cover calls, but I think that you're going to, or cover puts, sorry. You're going to probably have some problems with that because there's this thing is parabolic. It's going straight to the sky. So.
Do you see it as a takeover?
I don't see it as a takeover. I understand. Like with BlackRock, I try not to get too much into the details, but I can supply you with some critical information when it comes to self-driving vehicles. NVIDIA is a key player when it comes to construction of new laptops. NVIDIA is a key player because they're graphic chips and they're.
Well, there was an article out there. I think it was Louis Natallier about possible mergers, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would take off. If they would take on merge with Netflix was one idea. I mean, I've heard them. There are 7 companies he said that could merge, or 7 situations that would take on Amazon with a merger. And your AMAT or AMAT is another merger. Netflix, NVIDIA, that they could come together. Facebook could come in and grab one of them. So I don't know if that's something you're thought about. I've been merging with somebody.
I've been with NVIDIA since one of my portfolios that I cashed out 2011. It was at $24 a share. I was trading in and out of it from 17 to 24. But when I say this with quite a lot of confidence, the stock is undervalued. It should definitely be up there with the Amazons because of the fact, and I'm biased, of course, because I've held it for so long, but due to the fact that they have such a key play in graphic cards. Like if you're a gamer,
artificial intelligence,
artificial intelligence, and also their software and their chips are in driverless vehicles. So I mean they're so cutting edge when it comes to technology. I don't think anyone can disagree that NVIDIA is not a top tier company. The problem is that the market doesn't really recognize it as a top tier.
It's not a problem, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a very big opportunity.
As long as they catch up to you.
Yeah, I mean, the
They
current
need to realize
like
it.
valuation for I'm just looking at off Google is it's like what, like $56 for every like $1 per earning. So for me, I feel like there's another play here, which essentially is a FPGA play, because the GPU is can be used for processing all this data, but there is still a bottleneck to how much data can be processed at a time. And if you move to the real time processing, especially with all this real world data, you'll be bombarded with all the signals. So therefore, the front line for filtering all that junk data out will be the FPGA. So the way that I see it is going to be FPGA. Currently, like if you look at Xilinx or even Intel, their valuation is significantly lower than NVIDIA. So I think there might be a play here on the FPGA side, because that I don't think a lot of people have recognized that there might be a filtering data before processing on the FPGA and being used in an application in processor.
It not might, there is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I play. There
Okay.
is. I mean, NVIDIA has, history has proven NVIDIA right.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that.
Yep. So I think it might be there's an additional play there then for FPGA as well.
No one thought that a graphic card would do this hot. It won't be valued as much as they've done.
Yeah.
They really revolutionary. So that's all I have, gentlemen.
All right, Rick, you're next.
Okay, now I'll go into the mundane. Self-storage REITs. Decided to take a loss on one of them, LSI. It hit my pain threshold of about 20%, so I folded my tenant, took my losses and went. What I did at one point, I bought 3 self-storage REITs, EXR, NSA, and then it was SSS. And they all did well for a time, and then new management came in and bought out SSS, and since then it's down 20%. So since I've got 3 self-storage REITs, all have had increasing dividends and they've done okay. I've had this one go down 20%. Okay, this is a loser, so I took my losses and went. Now, you may also take that as a buy signal because I sold it at 70.48, and from the moment
5.5% yield, so it's a hefty yield.
yeah, so from the moment I sold it, it's gone up a point a day. So when I sell and take a loss, there's your buy signal.
So is that a pretty good track record then when you sell?
There's this one, follow LSI.
Yeah, that's.
What was the other, EXR?
EXR and NSA, and those have both done well. And so when I look at the disparity between, I've got 2 other self-storage REITs that have done really well, and I've got this one that's down 20%. I said, okay, I'm cutting it loose.
Who is public storage?
EXR?
EXR,
4% for EXR. So it's a little lighter.
And all 3 of these have steadily increased their dividends. But the difference was that originally it was SSS was like self-storage, and they got bought out by LSI, which is like life services something. And I don't know what the new managers did to it, but the stock has been a dog for me. So that was one of those that's just my pain threshold that I said, okay, I'm down 20%, I'm done.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, Hector, you're next.
Right. I want to get on the couch and tell my stories. I've been holding AT&T for a painful while. AT&T.
It's another, we have an A and
So,
a T now.
yeah, it's the storyline is that
There's
it's
a 5% yield on it.
yeah, very nice yield for those who like yield. And the storyline is that the competition of T-Mobile and Sprint and Big Vulcan Cord at the millennial level. But I think fundamentally T is doing quite well. The Time Warner acquisition is going to probably go forth, despite what the Trumpster says. The CNN is being beat there because Time Warner owns CNN and HBO. So and they'll give you extra cash flow. So big opportunity, not necessarily to buy more, but anybody in the room that have any insight into it?
I think I did explain that this was a risk for you. To sell it, but what you're experiencing now probably surrounds net neutrality. The millennials, not millennials, just everyone in general who's informed. I think the larger telecom companies will be affected by the net neutrality. So there's a lot of uncertainty
So for those who don't know about net neutrality, it is the government saying, well, for a company like Netflix should be charged more because they're hogging the bandwidth. And net neutrality says, no, everybody should be charged the same. That's what the water system is. But I think it's broader than that, right? Because there is the competition.
Commoditization of cell phones.
Yeah.
Is depressing prices.
Right. Having said that, AT&T has diversified into DirecTV, which is very big in South America. They bought DirecTV a couple of years ago. They're getting some revenues from there. Time Warner will get another source of revenues. They're doing a lot of infrastructure to improve the cell site communications quality. So we're going to stick with it, and notwithstanding all of those. XLE came. XLE is one that I heard on a show called Options Action yesterday. That we know the story about oil. That even the new heir to the crown for Saudi Arabia says that oil will be
2%
worth about $0.00 in the not too distant future. That we see a little bounce opportunity from XLE, a little bounce opportunity for those want to trade. Just if you want to make a couple of bucks on a trade. And, the price has held the last couple of, a few days at about 44, 45. People say it's going to go to 30, but might be an opportunity here, seasonal perhaps, that the price might hold and give an opportunity for a bounce. QQQs are said to be, stratospherically high. The triple Q, which includes the MUs, the AMDs, the rest of them, and so I would trade with caution. I don't know. What do you think? Because at this point, in terms of maybe
there's a 1% yield.
It's. I welcome any comments about that, but there's a sense that August will bring some volatility and an entry point. It might wait for an entry point, a better entry point to the Qs. Anything related to high tech. Although I will say low volatility, we experienced the lowest historic volatility reading. Volatility has been the lowest since 1993. There was a quirk in that. So that usually portends a better 30 days ahead, by the way. So that goes against what I just said about QQQ. I think Costco is one that, we saw Amazon Prime, right? How many participated in Amazon Prime? Did you buy anything? It was pretty boring. And that's when you saw Walmart. Costco got down precipitously. And then it bounced up the next day by opportunity. So Walmart is said to really have a good foothold
on that sell-off.
Right. Costco, people are saying they need to do a better job to compete against Amazon. But Walmart is well situated to do that. As I said a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Jet.com was bought by Walmart to compete in the internet side. And obviously they have the infrastructure, all the stores that Amazon doesn't have for distribution. So Walmart is an opportunity here to get on the bandwagon there. And Costco, I don't know about, but I'm in Costco and I'm looking for that bounce. I yield the rest of my time to my colleague to the left.
Oh, Amazon Prime, this year their volume of sales was 30% more than last year. Amazon Prime.
Thank you. Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime sales
wow.
was 30% more than last year. Volume.
Do you mean Prime members or on Prime Day?
Prime Day.
Because I think you're referring to
Prime Day.
Their goal is to bring up the Prime members. They're taking a loss on a lot of things to try to get more Prime membership signups.
Yeah, and that's been their theme, right? They don't care about taking losses. They just gobble up the world and then.
Well, they
They're investing.
Yeah, they have a very big revenue source with Prime membership. And it's sizable. I mean, like huge amount.
Wife
of money.
bought this Echo thing and it sits there and she has the urge to just talk to it and order things. Well, it's so much fun. Why wouldn't Amazon do that? They should have been. Echo should have been. It should have come with a discount, $20. Buy it.
Yeah,
because they're making so much money on it.
They did that recently. They just
By the
pushed
way,
out the Dash, which is the wand, and they were basically saying, here, you can have it for $20, but we'll give you a $20 credit. So it's free.
Right, it should be free.
Yeah.
So
It gets it in your house.
Dictionary said
It gets it in your house.
So one last comment. There's a new verb in the dictionary, is to Amazon something, right? So Macy's is being Amazon.
Oh,
Now, there are 3 companies that are not as likely to be Amazon. And that's Home Depot. They cannot ship big tractors out there. Walmart and TJX, according to Jim Cramer, if you listen to Jim Cramer. Because TJX can get garments even at a lower price than Amazon can for some reason. They take things that went out and they not sell anywhere. They just take the wholesale price.
I would challenge the Walmart piece. I would throw in that mix 7-Eleven. I think somebody should look at 7-Eleven because they're the ones that are doing stuff that Amazon cannot do.
But you don't agree with Walmart?
No, I think long term, they have to totally retool their entire business model.
Walmart, yeah.
Walmart does.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I wasn't impressed with my last order with them. I think I fixed that.
Okay, Don, you're up next.
A Foxtrot. Finally broke down was
Ford.
Ford.
Found on the road dead.
And that's a third single, 18 now. You know,
GM is
got
going
a
up.
5% yield.
I like this chart though.
Only for the upside down. Thank you. Since January.
It's on a breakout. It's on a breakout. Yeah, GM also is broken out. GM, right?
That's it.
Because
Okay.
Tesla took a beating.
Okay.
Maybe that's fine.
I unfortunately had to sell STM because I put a stop on it around 1440. That's the one I was telling you about, that Sims technology, but the son of gun went back up to 16 something. So I don't know. But I was hoping that would be a really good winner. A friend of mine from
So you can see her.
yeah. I just don't like to take losses, so I got out.
Yeah, I mean, that's, everybody's got a
I bought it at about 1430 and 1530. Once that was the one that Xavier helped me find the hidden guy. Guy from work, colleague of mine, he's pretty good at selecting stocks. It's something in his genes. His grandmother's like 96 years old, bought Apple at $70, sold it at $100. But anyway, he bought Target, and he talked to me 2 or 3 days. It's down there below TGT. And another fella, actually, you met Dan. He came to this meeting from work. We both talked to him about that sector not being in favor, but he's like you, Rick. He liked that 5% yield when he bought it. So he bought it at about 50, and it went up to 53. So maybe the Mike Capozzi, and he's looking at he's looking at T. So whoever wanted T, you might want to jump in it because Capozzi's looking at AT&T. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, so he seems to be very lucky. So
he's buying T and TGT.
No, he's buying AT&T. He already bought TG, and it went up 3 points in 2 days on him. Finally, I'm looking at stamps, STM. In fact, Jeff over here is doing an analysis as we speak. STMP, stamp. That you got that right, Gary. It's another one. STMP, stamp.
STMP.
The 2 companies. One's STM, another one STMP.
Oh, okay.
You got it both.
This has to be the facility.
That's it.
See, that's just as a it's easy to get confused on it.
Okay, well anyway, this one here is into stamps electronically. And I think it's rather high, but it has a good return on equity and assets to its peers. And I looked at did a filter through Vince's Fidelity system yesterday at my place. And it looks like it's a low PE at that level. God bless you. And it looks like it has some money going into it. But I think you should probably research it because it's rather high. Maybe it's reached its peak. But I'm thinking of picking some of this up. Maybe it'll be the next price line. Who knows?
So John, I can't argue with the chart, but this is about stamps.
Yeah,
When was the last
You
time
print them out at home.
US postage stamp?
Yeah, you can print them out at home. You get a meter basically.
But who uses it anymore?
Small business.
It's electronic.
But
Yeah.
you use
You're not going to the post office anymore with this.
So yeah, small businesses
I've
would
had
use
the
this.
same sheet of stamps for 6 months.
Yeah.
but this for regular
People who use
snail mail.
If you're doing
packages,
eBay too, if you're sending stuff out over eBay, you can stamp this at home and send it out.
So maybe it's for packages, maybe packages.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's ups and stuff. They support the postal service. All I'm saying, it could be the electronic version of the post office. I don't know. Maybe Amazon will take them over. I
knows?
just
That's what
bring
we
it
think.
up, and I don't own these shares. It just looked good in paper.
Your friend recommended it.
No, he doesn't know about this.
Oh.
He got into TG Target, and he bought Anselm Rand when it was very low. He bought that like at $20, so he's selling his profit in that and put it into TGT, and he's looking at AT&T.
Well, see, TGT is all the Amazon theme, and maybe it's not.
Well, he's like Rick. He likes dividend, and
Right.
so he's thinking, okay, this is near a 52-week low target.
Right.
The fear is that sector is out of favor. But
That's why
his
not.
wife, on the other hand, his wife is sort of a good monitor for him. She uses those products. I go into Target, he goes into Target. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because I think it's an overreaction to the Amazon threat. It's a good time to buy.
it's so the value. It's an idea. But I think people might want to look at STMP stamp. The Motley Fools are on it. They were on it, I think, at 60. So anyway, that's it.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
The next gentleman there.
Jeff.
I'm Jeff.
Jeff.
I haven't been here for a long time. Last time I was here like April. I just want to talk about some of the mistakes I made. First thing is Sanderson Farm, SAFM. They basically competing with Tyson, and we bought them as I think low 80 or high 70, and we sold it on 90, and it went to 125. So that's a story for me. And the other one is Ferrari race.
I think it's SAFM.
What's the symbol?
SAFM.
What was it?
RA race. RA as in racing.
Oh, that's
All right.
Lamborghini.
Roger, Apple, Charlie, Echo.
No, the story is I was looking at them. Me and my brother looking at them.
Never heard of them.
They were trading
Ferrari.
at $30.
Oh yeah,
The real Ferrari.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
Ferrari.
Lettering at the top.
They spun
Oh,
off.
okay, I get it. Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
they spun off from Alpha.
I got plenty of
The
real
issue
estate.
I had back then was they have a lot of debt and they don't have a lot of earning. I couldn't calculate their intrinsic value, so I don't know if that $30 they're cheap or expensive. And then later on, we realized our mistake is that all the Ferraris sold in the world, they never get going in the junkyard. They always stay on the road. They stay in somebody's garage, or they stay in a museum, or somebody collect. And then later on, the CEO, I think they decide to crank out. Usually, they make about $7,000 a year, and then they sell. This is a luxury, right? So I cannot treat them as an auto car. I have to treat them like a Tiffany or a luxury, something like that. And basically, that was my mistake. Is that I thought they don't have earning, then it's not worth investing. I couldn't calculate the intrinsic value, which is go against my belief of the value investor. So, but company went to $90 3 times in less than a year, and that's another mistake I made.
Did you get in?
I didn't get in. That's the problem.
You didn't get in.
I didn't get in at $30.
There was a kid that came here. I can't look at the date. John recommended that at $63.
I was looking at
And I
$30.
bought it, and it's done well. So
You bought it.
and everything you're saying, it's got a clientele. It's sort of like, I guess, how Harley Davidson used to be. They had a very loyal clientele.
But he had it right. It's like Tiffany.
It is a Tiffany.
And then with the current, economic environment, you find a lot of millionaires. If you just look at like how many millionaires just got, created after the 2008 bust, a lot of people don't know what to do with that money.
Yeah,
they buy luxury goods.
I was looking at this car when I was a little kid. I played video game, and this video game called Outrun as a Ferrari in a video game. And then that car was built in the early 1980, 1990. And that car called the Testarossa. At one time, back in 2005, 2007, when there was a financial crisis, the car was selling at $40,000. Now it's $100,000. It's a used 20-year-old car that goes from 40 to 100. Some even go to 140. And this is a Ferrari that people collect, and they don't sell them. They just keep working. But anyway, that's.
You think we keep going higher?
A 90. I have to find out how much money they're making to calculate the 90 is the value.
Well, they did their earnings, I think, of 3 weeks ago. They had very good earnings. Look them up.
So
there's an article there.
And they're going to build more than 7,000 cars a year. They decided to go like 9,000. That's one mistake. The other one is IPGP. It's India, P as in peach, G as in Euro, GP.
And you have your Gringo Peter.
Yeah, what they do is do material handling, not handling. They cut metals. They make lasers from metals.
There's another chart.
And they basically are into robotics. The laser cutter go into robots that cut metals.
How'd you find this one? I've never heard of it.
It was just we were doing research back in early 2016 when there was a Chinese scare, Chinese stock market crash.
Yep.
And then it promptly went down to it was $80-some, early 2016. And 10% their sales go to China because China is still a big manufacturing hub. So at that time we were scared about, 10% exposure to the Chinese market, is that high or low? So we never bought it. And then you went from 80 to 150 now. So I don't know if it's overvalued. So that's my mistake. There are two more I want to talk about. One is I looked at Texas Instruments, TXN.
TI, that's an old tech. One of the
TXN.
TXN is
Texan.
I've been looking at their numbers.
TXN, that's not Texas Instruments.
It is Texas Instruments. It's just they
changed the name to symbol to TXN. Huh?
That's their symbol.
Ah, okay.
Right now they're trading at $82, and if they
all right, that's right.
Yeah, if they grow at 7%,
wow,
and then continue. Right now, this number trading at $80 reflect about 7%, and I believe they probably go up to 105 because the problem I have is nobody can predict the future. I have to use the past net income growth as a guideline. So I calculate intrinsic value of about 100 to 105. 64% of sales go from analog circuits. And one thing with analog circuit is that no matter what kind of machine you build in the world that interact with nature or universe, you need analog circuit. The issue I have with them is I haven't found out how much competition they have. Are they the biggest player? And if there's a lot of competing emerging players coming into the market competing. But the stuff they make is basically going to be needed almost forever. But I don't know if they're going to be the biggest player going down the line because of the new competitors showing up. The last one I want to talk about is Costco, like somebody mentioned.
Yeah, Costco.
$153, that means that they're growing 7%. I don't know if they can continue growing at 7% in the foreseeable future. And because this all Amazon scare, I go to Costco shopping and there's tons of people. And I go to Target and I don't see a lot of people. Which I don't know if Target needs to change their business model or Costco can continue to do what they're doing. And one thing I like about Costco is that they charge annual fees on their members, so it's a consistent cash flow that come in. It's almost like somebody have to pay for water, even though the trunk that you have 80 watt, you use water. And one thing I see that the problem with them not be able to grow beyond what they are doing right now, because I go to Costco and I see all these people buy groceries. They just buy groceries a lot, and those stuff that you always need, like tissue paper towel, something like that. I don't know how they're going to continue to go beyond what they really have. That's the issue.
I read an analyst's report on Costco lately, and he said that Costco's got a good growth rate, and it's like they continue to have a good growth rate, but he thinks the price-to-earnings ratio is too high. Okay, so it's an expensive stock. So if it keeps coming down, it's going to get to the point where it's a reasonable value.
That's why I think that's...
And I see a support level that back here, say October, November, maybe at 150, who knows? Maybe it'll hold at 145, 150, or it might come back a lot lower, but it would seem to me it's worth watching, just because of the earnings growth rate. At some point, the price is going to get low enough so people are going to see will consider it a reasonable price.
Right, so for me personally, $153, 7% growth doesn't justify. If you come down more, and I say,
it's got a high PE ratio.
Right, if you come down more, it's worth it.
The thesis is that millennials are not interested in buying a gross of toilet paper to bring to their apartment, kind of broadly stated.
If you can just use that Amazon push button and have the,
Do you
toilet
mean
paper
the
delivered to
shopping
your
next
home.
to yourself?
And personally for me, is I really don't like grocery shopping.
So your future would be buying stuff online instead of going to the store, right?
He is young.
I mean, I'm asking you, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Your preference would not to go grocery shopping, so you would prefer to just order online and have it delivered.
Well, there's some stuff that I would prefer to buy myself, like if I go to Home Depot. But like every states are like eggs or toilet paper or milk that I drink a lot. I really don't want to go there twice a week to buy it and come back home and just realize I just bought like a small package, but I have to run to the store 10 miles away twice a week or once a week. It just seems like a hassle.
Also, if the product is consistent, right? Like if there's something that's consistent, then you don't need to go there and pick them yourself.
Right. So
fruits maybe.
While driving here, I was thinking the only way Costco, well, not only way, probably one of the way they can grow is that separate out some of your daily stuff, like toilet paper, milk, or some eggs, or tissue paper, or something that you used to have to use every day, and then branch out to smaller stores and have more locations. I don't know. Walmart did that, but I don't think it's working. I don't know.
That's part of their cost model, though, is they just drive the big semi truck up and just drop the pallet and say, get it yourself.
Right.
So if they have to go to more locations, that's going to be an overhead that they're not going to recover.
The model is to bring the warehouse to you instead of distributing it. Yeah.
That's all I
have. By the way, do you have a price target for how low it has to go before you actually think about it?
$150, that means I calculated, use the grand equation, it's about 7% growth.
Okay.
With the current number. And you have to believe, can Costco really grow 7% a year? Back then, they were growing like in Taiwan, in Japan, in South Korea, and some part of Europe, and Mexico, and Canada. I mean, they're just adding more stores. And I was just thinking, what else can they go? Is it Latin America or like Europe?
Okay, you're next.
Okay. So one stock that I invested in based on a recommendation in this group was Kite. It's a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, I think Nasser has fallen out.
Yeah, Nasser suggested that, and that has had quite a good return.
Oh, okay.
Just recently?
Well, let's see. Let me check that out.
Yeah, it's
20%.
Hot there, wow. Yeah, he follows those biochecks, and I never hear him unless he brings them up. Yeah. So
So that has gone up like 36% or something in the month, we'll call it.
Yeah.
They've owned it. So that I'm very pleased with. Another stock that I bought probably 6 months ago was NTNX, and that is a tech company, and that just had a 9% jump. I believe it was on
Friday.
Yeah, it was a big gap up. You know what happened there? What was it? Any story?
Well, they got a really good review. They also had partnered, I believe it was with Google, and so they're really getting a lot of support. But they're getting like a, I don't know, I'm reading here. It's like Nutanix is once in a decade opportunity from Goldman Sachs says. So it's like it's a technological company, and it deals with like data storage and like centralized and that sort of thing. So it's a kind of a new sort of approach to data storage. So that company has done well. So those are my two high performers that I've really liked a lot.
All right. Is that it for you, Kate?
That is it.
James,
I had two stocks that moved this last week. One I know why it moved, the other I don't. HCSG is the first one. I've had this REIT for some time. It sells medical supplies and services to.
Do that symbol again.
H is in Harry, C is in cat. HC, S is in Sam, G is in girl.
Oh, G.
HC. SG.
Second letter is C.
Yeah.
Can't.
H is in Harry, C is in cat, S is in Sam, G is in girl.
H, C, S. Charlie Sanders.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Problem.
H T S T.
No, H.
Charlie.
Charlie.
C. You got it.
C. Charlie.
S.
S G.
Yep.
Okay.
And that really popped this week. They beat earnings by a penny.
Wow. Yeah, that was a huge.
Beat by a penny.
They beat by a penny, but their revenues really went up. So I think they're one of the only companies that does this in the U.S. So they have a wide moat. I don't know. I always keep thinking that I'm going to sell it, and it keeps going up. So I understand why this one went up this last week. The one I don't understand why it went up is TROW, T-R-O-W.
T. Rowe Price.
And I had no idea why this gapped up this week. I think I bought it around 70, like whenever it last time hit 70. And I bought it because it's a financial stock that had a little dividend. It's been bouncing around quite a bit lately. I have no reason why it's going up. I may imagine the only thing that I've heard possibly is that in the future there might be some consolidation in the financials. I don't know if I believe that.
All financials went up this week.
Okay. But this one really went up.
Oh, the financials did not go up this week.
Yeah, they're
XLF is down, right?
The second, I heard that on Bloomberg on Friday. The second, financial sector.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the XLF generally. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't have any more, but I do have a comment. Like some time ago, I said never buy JP Morgan stock. I did a while ago. I'm happy I did. I think the last time they had earnings, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they dipped right after the earnings announcement, and then basically next week later, their stocks caught up with earnings. So I'm just kind of curious to see what happens this next week. So that's all I have.
So that's it. Lady next to you.
I'm Anna. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm still learning. Thanks.
All right, then Dan. Okay, then next gentleman.
Right, so I have some position in Facebook. Last week I had an opportunity to buy in a dip, and I'll continue to keep that because on 26th they're gonna announce their earning, so I'm expecting that it will go a couple bucks higher. So that was Facebook, and the other thing I'm looking at is for next week. It's a Snap. So it's very low now. It's way below the IPO, and I don't know if anyone else looking at Snap.
Snap.
Yes.
SNAP.
Sally Nancy
I'd be careful with that one. That one's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's some experts said it's the most overvalued stock on the market right now.
So you expecting it will go down?
It's not run by adults.
Jim, you think somebody will come in and take them over?
Facebook is crushing them every step of the way.
Didn't Facebook approach them to take them?
A while back. Now they've just paved
Moved
over
on.
them. They've taken all their functionality.
What other functionality is there in Snap? It is there in the Instagram, which owns by Facebook. So there is a lot of competition for this stock. That's why the stock is coming down so hard, even below the IPO price. So everybody is, most 80% of the people not taking this.
And also, their stock isn't voting stock. It's really, it's not worth very much.
Right. Thanks. That's it.
All right, Shireen, you're next.
I have a few questions. I know Vince had talked about it in the past, and I wanted to see if we had time to reiterate that because I don't really remember too much of that. You had talked about, PE earnings and moving forward to look at that and how to figure out if a company had earnings, liquidity, and things like that. And I wanted to see if you could revisit that and just give us a quick little,
Well, personally, I like to trade a stock that trades at least 300,000 or 400,000 shares a day, preferably over 500,000 shares a day. And you can always look at, I don't care what broker you use, but usually that brokerage firm has a website where you can look at projected earnings.
Projected earnings?
Yeah.
Okay.
A stock doesn't trade based on past earnings, it trades based on future earnings, and the pros are looking at least 6 months ahead. And so you gotta know what the analysts are saying about what the earnings of a stock are going to be in the future, not the past. There are certain industries like the one that Facebook is in, where you're going to get PE ratios of over 100. Then you can look at ordinary stocks that are selling food, for example, where the PE ratio would be about 10 because their growth rate is not going to be expected to grow. So when you put it all together, the fact of the matter is there's a jillion different things that can affect how a stock moves. And I like to look at a chart and see which way the stock has been going. Then I will try to look up the fundamentals. And I don't like buying a stock that's in a downtrend because you never know how far down it's going to go. I like to buy a stock where you see a big, broad bottom like this.
Again, Ford was the one that.
There's nobody who can sit here and tell you how to make money on the stock market.
Warren Buffett can.
Yeah, but you got a lot of
He's made mistakes.
I can tell you what I think I like to look at, but if I could guarantee you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you'll make money, I can't do that. I'd be a con man if I sat here and tell you that there is a definite formula for making money in the stock market.
So I think
whatever Noel tells you.
Also, how do you know a company is going to meet its projected earning, when the earning report comes out?
Usually the stock will react before the information becomes public. So you got to look at the way the stock's behaving.
You look at the options before the earnings.
I still haven't gone to that chapter yet. But I intend to. And I had another question. McLennan oscillator, what is that thing and how does one read that?
I think they're useless.
Oh, yeah.
So Wade, you had something to say?
Oh yeah, so I started making some YouTube videos on options and derivatives market. So if you're interested, I can send you the link to it. And I actually posted it on the meetup. Maybe you can email it after. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching those, so it's really good. It's explaining things very well. So, yeah, good job.
Okay. So is that it then for you, Sheree?
Also, you had said you wait until they go up. I at 160, I thought Costco had bottom because I do some, you know, even though we're a small family, I do some
Well,
shopping.
Costco is selling at a very, very high PE ratio, even though its sales are growing. And the analyst that I read just a few days ago was saying that the stock is going to have to come down to some level where you get a reasonable PE ratio. It's worth watching because its earnings are growing, but the price of the stock is astronomical by comparing to the earnings, according to what this guy was saying. So,
look at Amazon, you know. I mean, there's all these other big stocks which kind of look ridiculous.
Amazon violates all the rules. We all think that Amazon's going to own the world at some point. No other company in the world but Amazon.
Well, Costco does have organic stuff that young people are into. Plus, they do a lot of, you know, like if you want to make travel arrangements and things like that, you get huge discounts on, you know, cruises and flights and rentals and whatnot. And people, there is a market for that. I mean, you know, when we did Queen Mary, we used our Costco card to get discounts. And I'm sure other people are doing that too, you know, for other things that they market. So I don't see Costco disappearing.
No.
They're not getting, you know, drones to deliver your food, but there's a market of, you know, the boomers aren't dead yet. We like to go in.
But travel tips, car rentals is one of the best car rental things you can do. Yeah,
thanks.
It's online.
Next, I'm done.
Okay, Sani?
I made a couple of changes to my portfolio. Basically, I sold out Alta, which is like, you know, my favorite stock, but it's a great stock, still great fundamentals, but because of everything else, like, you know, all the beauty stuff, 20% discount and everything.
What's the company's name?
ULTA. Sticker is ULTA.
ULTA.
Yes.
ULTA.
Yes.
Thank you.
And technically, the stock broke the 50-day line, even it is touched 200-day line. So it's kind of, and Goldman Sachs again reported back on this stock. It is still a good stock, that's why it jumped back on Friday. So I sold this stock and I bought Nvidia, which I will yeah, it's a great stock, a lot of growth potential, and I like this stock. If it comes down like 100 and below 140 level, I will add some more. It's having a lot of growth potential. And I also had small position in Spare. Sticker is SQ, that is the symbol, which is like $20 something like that.
What was it?
Square.
Oh, Square. SQ.
Square, okay.
Good choice. Jerry Dorsey,
Yeah.
Twitter guy.
Jack Dorsey.
Jack.
Yeah, it's a small position, but I feel this will be a growth stock.
So you like stocks that have been going up, not stocks that have been going down.
That's why he's sitting next to us.
What Vince is saying is the trend is your friend.
I look at usually pretty growth stocks which are having strong fundamentals and also showing very good signs on technical side on the charts if you look at it. So that's what I look at, higher volume when the price is going up. Those are the stocks I look at it. So definitely not when the chart is showing down. I don't buy it at all. And also topic of PE ratio. Usually growth stocks will have higher PE ratios. So there are two ways looking at PE ratio. I look at the growth stocks, usually they will have higher PE ratios. Whereas some people look at lower PE ratios, which are like, value stocks, those kind of things. But if they are sitting for a long time on the same price, I don't buy, I don't look at those stocks.
Quick question for you. I know we're already done. Netflix, have you changed your mind since last week? I know Netflix you sold.
Netflix, I already sold it because it breaches.
Have you changed your mind because it went back off in?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't go back to Netflix because the reason I sold Netflix is number one, my conviction on the stock I lost because it's having a lot of competition from other sources or from other stocks like Disney, all of the things. So it's basically the streaming stock, so which is having
We were reporting earnings on
competition.
Monday.
Yes.
Monday's earnings report on Monday. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so you can't tell what will happen just by looking at the stock, like Vince said. He said, look at the stock before the earnings
Oh,
come
wait a
out.
minute, I didn't say just look at the stock, I said you need to look at everything.
Exactly. That's the
Everything, the stock, the fundamentals.
Yeah, and even that, it's there's still high variance in what's going to happen. It's purely speculation at that point. If you're trying to, predict what's going to happen
You make an
as in the
educated
outcome.
guess is the best
Yeah,
you can do.
exactly. You try to compile the information from the actual earnings or what historically has happened or what the current sentiment is, and then you make a projection. And hopefully you're right.
And always do not buy the stock. I look at it. I will never buy a stock if the stock is announcing the earnings next week. I'm going to buy this week. No, I will never do that.
So is that a converse sign?
Yeah.
And Michael,
So
you're
you
next
wait
week
until
down
after, but it's all.
We'll just make it quick, one success story. I've owned O Realty for a long time, in and out, but for the past 6 months, I've sold $55 puts for $1.25, and they've all expired. So that's the one consistent story.
Big O there.
Just
letter O. So stock itself, whatever it is. Many of you own it, I know. I've owned it for a long time, but around $55, $1 to $1.20 put options. I've sold it for this past 6 months. Expired every month. So just one small little.
Because that is a monthly dividend on it too.
Yeah,
You're
but
selling puts, collecting premium.
This is it. So that's the past 6 months. It has always expired around 55. So that's been one consistent, small, low-level success. Otherwise, I've owned the stock for a long period of time. Is it?
Yeah, and I just have two things I'm watching. One's a repeat from last year, which is ATSG, Alpha Tango Sierra Gopher. Golf. And this is the air transport company that is subcontracting and selling services to Amazon, and Amazon's buying 40 planes for Prime. So I think it'll continue to go up as Amazon Prime grows. That's one thing to watch. And then the other one is new to me. I just discovered it's KEM. KEM as in Mary. They do electronic components for automotive, and all the sources I look at with ratings rate it really well, and it's been shooting up. So just put that on people's radar screen. That's all I had.
Okay, I see we're right at 1 o'clock, so throw it open to.
There's no one there.
Okay, well, so we can stay on.
I'll throw one thing. There was a flash crash on silver a couple of Fridays. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. There was a flash crash on silver.
Right.
Any reason or just trigger or anything?
It was while I was trying to sell some silver to a dealer.
Oh,
Or a ton a day.
That's
right. Yeah.
You caused it.
That's the reason.
And there is no and there was no explanation for it.
Can you tweet out to everyone when you're going to sell something? We'll just.
There's your buy signal.
I don't have much to say, but I can comment that I think the expertise in this room, Vista Fundamentals, is outstanding.
Thank you.
The best idea I heard is Intel's strategy here. He's buying the 31 calls 6 months out, and he's selling weeklies against it 31.
Wait, we'll call it the strategy of the day.
That's the strategy of the day. I'm gonna look real close at that and see how that might work. But I think it's pretty good. What if Intel falls down? You get hurt now. You
own
don't
it.
get hurt.
Then you get it for
Yeah, you own it. You hold it on.
Then you bought it.
Yeah.
And you got about a 2-3% dividend on that, don't you?
Yeah.
So why not?
Were you talking about Intel on that or Micron?
Micron.
I want to make a comment about gold.
Okay.
Gold.
It's going to.
I think the price of gold, this is me, just me talking, there's no evidence of it.
I like what you told me.
I think the price of gold is pretty much dependent upon trading in China, India, and Russia.
And the weakness of the
We
dollar.
just don't know
Weakness
what's
of trade.
going on with these people that are just jerking the price of gold all over the place.
Isn't it emotional though? It's just kind of a psychological
Yeah.
thing.
Fear.
I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, volcanoes and earthquakes going on.
I
I
think if anybody in this country is playing with gold, you're going to lose in the long run because you got no earnings to look at. You don't know what's going on in these places, and you're just going to get jerked around, and you're going to lose money.
So you're staying out of gold is what you're saying?
That's my attitude about gold.
Yeah, I mean, if you just think of it as like a business, right? It doesn't generate anything, and you can't consume it, right? Unlike oil, it's used, it's gone. You gotta get more. Gold, you find it, it's there, and you keep it in your basement.
Well,
It's still there.
Depends how you look at it, though. I think all the electronics companies are consuming it.
Yeah. Okay. But silver, though.
Right?
But
And
then
so
if
if
that's
you
the
believe in the
case, silver
technology
would
and you believe that they're just churning out all these things and all these, sensors and devices, what do they cap all those things with? Silver and gold. Or it's a platinum.
But they use such a small percentage of the actual gold volume
But it
that
is
exists in the world.
right. So so it's a demand question, right? There has to be enough for
tax
I'm not.
All right.
Down. Where's he going up?